Hi everyone, Eric Nelson here once again, and thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. For tonight, I am back with another book review on Gary Henry's American Goddesses. Now, just so you know, this book has nothing to do with Greek mythology, and I say that because what's in the title, American Goddesses, this has nothing to do with any of that, although it does have a lot to do with supernatural powers and psychic ability. And yes, it does take place in America, in the Midwest. It actually centers around two women named Megan and Trish, who actually take who actually volunteer for this one medical experiment that claims that once they partake in the experiment that it will basically shield them from sickness, or they will become so healthy that they will rarely get sick, but not to the point of becoming immortal. Well, turns out that the experiment either goes completely wrong or it goes into overly full effect, because after the experiments they begin to develop superhuman powers in which of course, well, once they become fully adjusted to their powers, they decide to use it not for evil, but for the actual good, to help serve the community, but not really to the point of being like all superhero, even though they do seem like superheroes. When I was reading it, they seem to be like servers of the community, where they actually exposed a cheating husband, and they also righted a few wrongs in their own life. So all throughout the book, they never act like they are above and beyond the normal, or should I say the quote unquote normal human. They act like servers to the community with just a little bit of magic, and they really don't act like superheroes until this one former a Russian spy comes into the actual story, and for some reason I'm sorry, she becomes all obsessed uh, on world domination. Of course, the actual to the actual typical villain, obsessed on world domination. but aside, but even though that I think the villain is a little typical and a little a little traditional, I think that the actual book is very well written, and because not only does it, as I said, not only does it serve as a superhero story, but before they become superhero-y with the Russian spy, they actually act as servers to the community, and I kind of like that. For some reason, it just seemed kind of nice. I guess it was because it seemed very different from what you would usually see in a superhero story. And of course, with it being a superhero story, there is a lot of violence, a little bit of sexual content, but not a whole lot. So you can basically get this book on Amazon like how I did, or anywhere else, and I hope to see you all at the bookstore or the iBookstore.